orientation and all this good stuff is as good as it's going to get. So I'm prompted to come on this live so that we can talk about how to get 90K in 90 days. I am inspired to come on here because a lot of us don't know how easy it is. But I understand that there's a lot of moving parts, right? You have to consider your personal credit profile, your business credit profile, and your business credibility as a whole. That is a lot. It's not as simple as doing certain things to boost up your credit score. It's not as simple as adding net 30 accounts to generate a business credit score to just go to the bank and get real funds from a real bank. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this tutorial as short, concise, and sweet as possible. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the things you need to consider when it comes to your personal credit profile, some of the things you need to consider when it comes to building out your business credit profile in the correct fashion, some of the things you need to consider when it comes to building banking relationships. All three of these are highly important and will land you high approval amounts from a bank. Not one, not two, but all three, all done at the same time. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to go over your personal credit profile, right? What you need to do when you consider watching this video is to, number one, pull your personal credit profile. All right, take a look at it. Do you owe anybody anything? Is there anything negative on there? I do not care that you have a negative item that you decided to pay off later, but if it's still showing in the negative category, it means that it has to remove. Meaning, say you had an old bill and it went into collections and you was like, hey, I'm going to do the right thing. I want to pay you guys off. But when you look at that account, you now see that it's paid off, but it's a charge off, zero balance. Guess what? That's still a negative item, negatively reported. It didn't even matter that you paid it off. It's not in the good category because it was now paid off. In the future, you want to ask for what is known as a paid for deletion letter when prior to even paying anything like that off, okay? Meaning you're telling them like, hey, this is a charge off on my credit report. In an agreement for me to go ahead and pay you off in full, in exchange for that, I want you to send me a letter stating that as once I pay this off to you in full, you would delete this completely off my credit profile. Deal? I hope you understand that. So open and closed accounts, whatever that history is, and it's active and it's still the 7 years of statute of limitations and it's reporting, it is impacting your credit profile negatively or positively. All right? Another thing, credit card utilization. A lot of us have high credit card utilization. We are of the understanding that 30%, yeah, 30% is good. Anything at 30% or lower will not harm you, but I challenge you to get it below 10%. Why? There's a pointing system. I'll go over that in other videos. There's probably other videos in my library where I talk about that, but there's a pointing system. So when it comes to high credit card utilization, everyone starts out with a 350 credit score, first and foremost. You have the opportunity to gain points, okay? So with good credit card utilization, high credit card utilization makes up 225 points on your credit profile. So if you lower that credit utilization below 10%, you can gain points, increasing your credit score versus just floating at 30%, 25%. Give it a try. Pay all your credit cards down below 10% and watch that score go up. Your credit history, your overall age of your credit report. How long have you been in the credit game? You know, like how old are your accounts? You know, you would want it to be at least 3 years old. 5+ years, 10 years, you're really winning. Like creditors and lenders love to see people with long history, accounts like student loan debt, mortgages, car notes, things that has been paid over time. You look great. They can trust you. That means that you're disciplined when it comes to borrowing money and you're committed to paying it down. That's all that this is all about, all right? So your credit history, you want it to be a minimum of 3 years, but at least 5 years. Your credit inquiries, get them all removed. Another thing that we need to understand as consumers, any and everything that's on your credit profile can and will be removed if you understand that legally you have the right to have it removed. You literally have the right. Bankruptcies, public notices, late payments, charge-offs, all of that stuff can and will be removed with the right person on your team, okay? Once we get our credit history in order, our credit card utilization in order, we also have a nice credit history. We want a nice credit mix. What is that? Loans from a bank, like car notes, mortgages, personal loans, student loans. Those are considered installment funding. Then you also want revolving funding, like credit cards, lines of credit. So you want a nice mix of those. So say for instance, you have 7 open accounts. 4 of them are credit cards and 3 of them are loans from a bank. This will satisfy that category. Another thing you need to understand when it comes to your credit profile is knowing that your credit card limits themselves, it matters. The amount that you were funded out matters. It matters during the underwriting process. So underwriting 101, okay, just to make it simple for you without any complicated, it's a little more math or formula that goes into determining the amount you're approved for, but just to keep it simple for you, give a little or take a little away. Simply put, if you're looking for a $50,000 car note, they are going to look to your credit report to see if you've had a history of at least 50% of whatever it is you're asking for. So when it comes to a car note, say now I want a Mercedes-Benz, and the car note for that Mercedes-Benz is $50,000. Underwriter is going to look at your credit history. Okay, does Jane Doe have a car note that she's had a history of that was at least $25,000? Did she have a Toyota Corolla, or something, or a Camry for something for $25,000? You are only going to qualify for 50% more than what you already have, okay? Credit card. I'm now looking for a $20,000 credit card. Now that works a little different. So when it comes to credit cards, they like to do something known as credit match. This is why it's highly important to start out with high credit card limits, and you can do that by building relationships with the bank. I'll get into that later. But when it comes to credit cards, if you look at your credit report, now I'm just assuming you have your credit report out with you. Look at your credit report. What are your credit limits? Typically, they're going to be around the same. If you have a $1,700 credit limit with Capital One, Chase, whatever, they all are around the same limits. So if you have a $5,000 credit card with Chase and then a $5,500 credit card with Bank of America, and then you go to PNC, they're like, okay, we'll give them $6,000 or we'll give them $5,700. That is what's known as credit match. Do not think in your mind that if your highest credit card limit on your credit report is $1,200, that if you go to Bank of America, you're thinking they're going to give you $5,000. No. This is where it comes into play when we say credit score does not matter. It's credit history and all the data points I just went over with you. This is what is confusing everyone when it comes to funding. So hopefully this is information you can use, and hopefully I've clarified some things for you, all right? Same thing, when you're going for a home, they want to make sure, so going for home lending, the best factor is, can this person afford it? And the debt to income ratio then comes into play when it comes to purchasing real estate or a home. All right, now that we have our personal credit profile out of the way and we know what it takes to make a powerful personal credit profile, let's get into business credibility. What is credibility? Is your business truthful and believable? Is this person that's presenting to me, I'm a bank, coming to me asking for funding for their business? Are they credible? Is this a business that I believe is profitable? Is this a business that I believe is in business? Does this business have a web presence? Is this business named properly, sophisticatedly? All right? Does this business records match everywhere that I see it advertised? These things are highly important when you go for business funding. All right? Is this business registered with the Secretary of State? What industry is this business in? Okay, does this business have a professional name? Does this business have a professional website? Does this business have a professional phone number? Can we call that phone number and someone answers? ABC LLC. Is that phone number, website, address, all advertised on the web? And if I'm looking for this company, I can actually Google and find them and do business with them. That is credibility. Our problem is a lot of us is just going, thinking that if we have a decent credit score, that we're just going to wallow up and sass our way into Chase and say, hey, I would like a $15,000 credit card for my business. You're like, what business? If you don't have those factors and those things that I just listed, up, running, open, advertised for business, you don't look truthful and believable. That is what is known as business credibility, all right? Then you're going to ask for things, and then you're going to fill out the credit card application. Simply put, any and everything that you put on that credit card application need to be verifiable. Can I verify the name? Can I verify the address? Can I verify the phone number? When I go search for this business, everything that this person placed on this application is that also advertised to the World Wide Web. Okay, Duns and Bradstreet profile. Is that in order? The way the name of the name of your company is highly important. Do not put a name like your personal name. I'll give you an example. My first business was Aquila Couture. First off, my name is spelled weird. So if I'm talking to someone and I'm like, hey, the name of my company is Aquila Couture, how would you spell that out? Typically it's AK. So I'm not even, you can't even find me on the internet. And it just looks unprofessional. And when an underwriter sees that, they also think you're unprofessional. Because anyone in their right mind doesn't want their government name in their company's name. The purpose of going into business or incorporating a business is to separate yourself totally from your business. So when they run across a person like that, or like this person isn't as sophisticated as they may think they are, right? So you want to come up either with your last name, if it's unique, or an acronym, plus ventures, plus solutions, plus enterprises, plus management, something sophisticated, LLC or INC. I hope this is helping you. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and also make your comments, right? And message me, and also book your free funding readiness call with me. I am here to help you get funded, period. All right? So our personal credit profile is in order. Our business is now credible. Here's the most important part of this whole thing, and that is establishing a proper relationship with a bank, obtaining your business banking account. Here's something you may not know, and it's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of us make. We may file the business and incorporate ourselves with the Secretary of State, but we don't go immediately and open up a business banking account because most of us don't start business immediately. But did you know that that is the date that most banks will take as the date you opened up your doors? It makes sense. So if I found my business in 2020 and established a business with the Secretary of State, but I didn't go and get an actual business banking account until 2023, you're like, how are you collecting funds? So we will take the date that you actually opened a banking account to say that this is when your doors open and you started collecting funds. Otherwise, how are you getting paid? How are you in business? If you really think about it, it makes perfect sense to me when you really think about it. So whenever you file your business with the Secretary of State, immediately go and open up a free business banking account somewhere, all right? Just keep for your notes. Now, with building a relationship with the bank, you want to start participating in their products and services. You want to get a checking, a savings, direct deposits. You want to get anything that they have, a merchant account. All of this is doing for you is increasing your internal banking rating with them. So banks will rate their customers in rankings depending on how they've invested with them. So when you're doing things like that and building that relationship, that can make a difference in being approved for a $3,000 credit card and a $30,000 credit card. So I will stop it here, but the formula I just gave you is the formula on how you can obtain 90K in 90 days. You will take each one of those steps, set yourself up in the correct fashion, become fundable, and then go get funded. So my name is Mrs. Cash Flows. I'm on all platforms. So like, share, and subscribe, and book your free funding readiness call with me. Be amazing, be great, let's get funded. Take care, guys. Bye.